Here we're going to be running the phosphate test. So I have set up here my known, which is sodium phosphate, and then I have an unknown, which is not a phosphate, a carbonate. Okay. And then I'm also going to run this next to phosphoric acid to highlight that the phosphoric acid does not work for the first test, but will work for the second test. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some cobalt sulfate to each of those. And for the sodium phosphate, you can see this purplish precipitate forming, and then there's a little bit of extra cobalt in there that keeps that pink color. And the other one I have a precipitate as well, but it's not the same purple color. Clearly it's different than this one over here. And so you can see that if I put this on the writing that both of those are precipitates, and then the phosphoric acid on the other hand has remained clear. And so we did not form a precipitate even though this had the phosphate in it. So in the event that you have phosphoric acid, this test is not going to work. So the second test is you're going to add copper acetate to it, cupric acetate, and two things are going to happen. So you're going to form a precipitate here between the copper and the phosphate. And in here we're getting a copper carbonate phosphate precipitate. So they're slightly different, but they look very similar. So if you just look at that, this one is a little bit lighter, and this one's a little bit darker. We can move that onto here. Okay, but really they look very similar in there too. So to really distinguish them, the other thing you can do is that when you have the phosphoric acid precipitate, you can smell some of the acetic acid being produced from there. So if you can get a smell of this, and you can sense that acetic acid smell, the vinegar type smell, that's your indication that you're dealing with phosphoric acid and not something else. It is difficult to differentiate, but there is some subtle distinctions. I think the color now is coming out a little bit better for the fact that this one is a little lighter of a precipitate than the other one, although they do look very similar.